You ever get that feeling at the auto shop? That knot in your stomach when you're looking at a repair bill and it might as well be written in another language? Yeah, you are not alone. In this explainer, we are going to demystify all that paperwork, so the next time you hand over your keys, you're going to do it with total confidence.
So, what really happens the second you leave your car with a mechanic? Well, a legal process actually kicks in. And you know what? It's all about protecting you, the customer. The shop has a legal duty to give you specific documents, and really, understanding them is your best defense against any unexpected costs.
All right, let's start with the two most important pieces of paper you're going to see. First, you've got the estimate. Just think of it like a roadmap for the repair. It lays out the plan and what the cost should be. Then, at the very end of it all, you get the invoice. That's your final itemized bill. Sounds simple, right? But here's the thing you have to remember. They are not the same thing.
Everything, and I really mean everything, starts with the estimate. Before a mechanic even lays a wrench on your car, they are legally required to give you a written breakdown of the job. This isn't just them being nice, it's the law.
So what is an estimate exactly? Well, it's pretty much the shop's official written game plan for your car. It spells out what they plan to do and, more importantly, about how much it's going to cost, so there are no big surprises later on.
Now, this is where your power as a consumer really comes into play. As you can see here, the shop has to give you a super detailed breakdown of everything. They can't just throw a single number at you. They've got to tell you the cost of the parts, the cost of the labor, and this is a big one, they have to tell you if they're using new, used, or rebuilt parts. Okay, here's a little pro tip for you. This can save you a bit of a shock when it's time to pay up. The estimate doesn't include sales tax. Nope, that only gets added to the final invoice. So when you're looking at that initial number, just kind of mentally add in the sales tax to get a truer idea of the final cost.
So what happens if a mechanic can't figure out what's wrong without, taking your engine apart? They can't just start doing it. Instead, they have to give you something called a tear-down estimate. This covers the cost of that diagnostic work, but it also has to include the cost of putting everything back together if you decide not to go through with the full repair. See? It's another way the law protects you from getting locked into a repair you don't actually want.
So you've got the estimate in your hand. Now what? Well, the ball is officially in your court. The shop legally cannot do a single thing to your car until you give them the green light.
This is a really crucial point, so listen up. Your authorization is the trigger. It doesn't matter if you sign a piece of paper, give a verbal okay over the phone, or just shoot back a quick text saying go for it. The shop has to have a record of it. The date, the time, who said yes, it all has to be documented before they can even think about starting the work. So just make sure you're super clear when you give your approval.
We've all been there. You take your car in for what you think is a simple fix, and then you get that phone call. Hey, so, we found something else. Well, guess what? They can't just go ahead and fix it and tack it onto your bill. The entire approval process has to start all over again.
I know, that phone call can be so stressful, but here's the good news. The law is totally on your side. The shop has to put the brakes on everything and get your permission before they do any extra work. You are always in the driver's seat.
And this slide right here, this really drives home the golden rule of car repair: no surprises. The shop has to create a brand new work order, they have to call you, they have to walk you through the new costs, and they have to get your okay all over again. And, you guessed it, they have to document every bit of it. You are always in control.
All right, the work is done, your car is running great, and you are ready to get back on the road. But hold on. Before you go, there's one last piece of paper to deal with: the invoice. This is your final official record, so it's really important to give it a good, hard look. So, remember how the estimate was the plan? Well, the invoice is the final score. It's a detailed breakdown of exactly what was done to your car, what parts were used, and of course, how much you owe. And it should perfectly match all the work you approved, no exceptions. So before you pull out your wallet, just take a minute and run through this checklist in your head. Make sure that invoice itemizes every single service and every single part. Look for the subtotals for labor and parts, and make sure that sales tax is listed clearly. If anything looks weird or isn't clear, don't be afraid to speak up and ask for a corrected bill. You have every right to know exactly what you're paying for. Oh, and this is a big one, people. Watch out for a vague charge for shop supplies on your bill. That is a huge red flag. It's also illegal. A shop can only charge you for supplies they actually used on your car, and they have to list them out one by one, just like any other part. So, why does any of this paperwork matter so much? Because it's your power.
These aren't just friendly suggestions from the shop. These are your legally protected rights as a customer. And knowing them makes sure you get treated fairly every single time.
And get this, your protection doesn't just stop when you drive away. The shop has to keep all your paperwork on file for at least 3 years. So if any problems pop up with that repair down the road, you'll always have a paper trail to back you up.
And don't think for a second that these are just empty rules. Shops can get into serious trouble for things like lying to you, doing work you never approved, or even just forgetting to give you a copy of the paperwork you signed. So if you ever feel like you're being taken for a ride, just know the law is on your side.
So what's the bottom line here? It's simple. The estimate is the plan, the invoice is the final bill, and you are in charge every single step of the way. Knowing all this doesn't just make you a smart customer, it makes you an empowered one. The next time you walk into that auto shop, you'll have the confidence of knowing that the job will be done right, both on your car and on the paperwork.